All right. Good afternoon, everyone. So, what is the goal of my presentation? The goal of my presentation today is to make sure that you will have a building blocks in order to build AI agents. That is the goal. When I'm done with this presentation, my hope and my expectation is that at least you will have a certain understanding of what an AI agent is, how to build an AI agent, specifically using Copilot Studio. So whether we like it or not, these agents, whether it is agentic agents or conversational agents, they are part and parcel of our day-to-day activities, whether in work or in our personal life. Everywhere we go, all the talk is about AI and AI agents and the impact of AI in our day-to-day activities. So we need to be familiar with it. We need to know what it is, and we need to know how to incorporate these agents in our work and in our life. So I will. My presentation will have three sections. First, I will go over a very high level AI essential explanations. So that is basically a 30,000 foot view of explanation. I'm not going to go into details, but I'll just cover the basics of an AI essential. Second, I will explain Copilot Studio, not Copilot for Microsoft 65, not Copilot, the standalone application, Copilot Studio. Copilot Studio is the platform that we use in order to build agents, different kind of agents. So I'm going to spend 90% of the time discussing about what Copilot Studio is, what are the different sections of Copilot Studio, and then we will go ahead and build an agent. So and the last part is a pure demo. So for this presentation, right, we have created a fictitious company. Uh, all right. So the Sunshine AI Academy is a fictitious company. It is not really a regular company, or it's not, a true company. We specifically build this website and this company for this demo only. So Sunshine AI Academy is a training academy that provides different kind of courses. AI Fundamentals 1, AI Fundamentals 2, these are the different courses that this fictitious company is supposed to build. These are the instructors, these are the schedules. So this is a small company. This company do not have the money to hire a customer service agent. They don't have the money to answer phone calls 24/7. Therefore, they need an agent. They need an assistant. So as you can see at the bottom here, there is an agent here. There is an agent. The purpose of this agent is what? The purpose of this agent is to serve as an agent for this organization. If a person has a question, that person can come here, chat with this agent, and get the answer. If they want to know what is my class, they can come here and ask that question. If they want to know who the instructor is, or if they have any kind of problem, technical problem, then they can come here, ask a question, or try to chat with the conversational agent in order to get an answer. So we will go ahead and build the AI agent that you can see at the bottom of the screen. So let's just cover the basics first. So AI essentials. Like I said, the first part is just covering the core concepts, because we need to understand the core concepts before we go ahead and build an agent. We're here because of generative AI, right? Generative AI is, we're discussing about AI, or when you open a television, or when you open your YouTube channel, there is so many talk about generative AI. So what is generative AI? Generative AI is basically an AI model that generates some content. That content can be a text, that content can be a video, that content can be an image, but it will create and generate some content. That is generative AI. Generative AI is a part of machine learning. Machine learning has so many branches. One subset of machine learning is generative AI, and machine learning by itself is part of artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is nothing but the ability or the technique to mimic human intelligence. It is artificial. It's an intelligence, but it's artificial. It's artificial because it's not human, but it has the capacity, it has the ability to do what humans are supposed to do. Typically, customer service agents is supposed to provide information to customers. An agent, an AI agent can do that. So they are mimicking human intelligence. So AI, there was AI before machine learning. There was AI before generative AI. There was classic artificial intelligence. A simple example is, I don't know if you read about this back in 1997, right? IBM has Deep Blue. That was the first big AI breakthrough. That IBM Deep Blue in 97, that tool that IBM built managed to beat the world chess champion. So IBM built Deep Blue by using algorithms that can understand the different passes, the different sequences in a chess game. They built that, it was able to beat the world champion. That was 1997. That was classic AI. That wasn't machine learning. That's not generative AI. That's just classic artificial intelligence. But that that platform or that architecture didn't advance artificial intelligence that much. I mean, okay, you beat a certain guy in chess, not big deal. But generative AI changed the whole thing. Generative AI changed the entire complexity. So, like I mentioned, generative AI is just one part of machine learning. There is a different machine learning outside of generative AI. A classic example of a traditional machine learning, which is not generative AI, is the predictive analysis that we see in our day-to-day life. A simple example is just imagine your Gmail account. In your Gmail account, there is a spam folder. In your Gmail account, there is a promotional folder, there is an inbox folder. Google built this logic that if there are certain words in an email, it will classify them to spam. It looks into some words, some patterns, even the sender. So there will be a classification. So when an email is generated, it will predict whether that is a spam or a promotion, or it's a clean, legitimate email that needs to go to your inbox. So this is traditional machine learning. It's not generating anything. It's not producing a video. It's not producing a content. It just do basic classification and prediction. On the other hand, generative AI is creative. In generative AI, there will be a knowledge base. There will be a data. That knowledge base can be a website. That knowledge base can be a PDF file. That knowledge base can be a Word file, a SharePoint a document library, a database, a SQL server, what. Those knowledges generative AI will be able to produce content. It will write emails, it will write projects, so it will do all the tasks. Before I go in detail, right? For many people, the breakthrough when it comes to AI, many people think it is November 2022. November 2022 is when ChatGPT came into picture. November 2022 is when ChatGPT is introduced and people become familiar with it. Normal, regular, day-to-day people come to know what the technology is, what its capability is. Therefore, that many people think that is a critical milestone. Yes, it's critical milestone, but in my view, the most important time is not really November 2022. It is June 2017. Why June 2017? Why is June 2017 more important than the date ChatGPT is introduced and essentially conquered the entire world? June 2017 is a time when the white paper from Google Brain is released. The name of the white paper is "Attention is All You Need." In that paper, Google released the Transformers technology. Transformer architecture. Transformer architecture is the architecture behind every GPT tool out there, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's Claude, whether it's Gemini, Llama, DeepSeek, Quinn, what have you. Every single one of them use the transformer technology that was introduced by that paper that was published in June 2017. Even the name ChatGPT, right? ChatGPT, what does GPT stands for? GPT. The first G is generative, right? It is generating text, generating code, generating video. That is the G, ChatGPT. G. The P in GPT P is pre-trained. It is trained. The model is trained on a large amount of data. Text in website, books, manuals, what have you. The last part, GPT, the T is transformer. The transformer technology, the underlying architecture, the neural network architecture. So even ChatGPT, the name T there indicates that the transformer technology is the architecture behind it. So without that breakthrough, there is no ChatGPT. There is no Gemini 3.0 or Gemini 2.5. There is no generative AI. So there is this debate where, oh, you know what, that white paper is the most important date, or some people say November 22. But for me, the foundation is that paper. Attention is all you need. So that's the information behind. So let's talk about the AI technology stack. So this is just a rough classification of the AI technology stack. We can broadly classify it into three: the infrastructure layer, the model layer, and the application layer. The infrastructure layer is essentially the infrastructure behind AI. It is the data centers, the clouds, the processors, and so on and so forth. So the main players in the infrastructure layer are companies like NVIDIA with its GPUs, Google with its models, and especially with the TPU processing unit that they are introducing. So NVIDIA currently is a 4.5 trillion company, 4.5 trillion. All they do is produce chips, GPUs. Google, in terms of market valuation, Google is lower than NVIDIA, and now they are using the TPU chips, TensorFlow processing units, in order to train their models. So infrastructure is basically data centers, chips. The model layer is the models that we use in our different applications. There are different kind of models. Almost all models are pre-trained. They are trained based on data that are available out there. So the models can be like GPT 5.0, 5.1. It can be Gemini 3.0. It can be Anthropic's, the different offerings of Anthropic's. It can be offerings from, say, Alibaba like Quinn. So these are the models. These are the brains. And finally, there is the application layer. The application layer is the layer where you create different agents and assistants in order to solve business problems. In order to do so, you have to use a model. You have to use different models. So the application layer is where, we believe that there is a huge opportunity. I've been discussing this with Alex many times, that in the infrastructure layer, these are companies with trillion-dollar valuations that are producing data centers and chips. I don't think there is an opportunity for people like us on that layer. We need to know what it is. We need to understand what it is. But, but it's a whole different ballgame. The second part, which is model creation, yep, it is. We can go ahead and customize some of the open source models. We can do fine tuning and whatnot, but that's also a very crowded area. But the application layer is an area where there is tons and tons of opportunities. Many companies, small or big, they will need these AI agents, but they don't know how to integrate them. They don't know how to make sense of what is out there. They hear this information that, oh, this model can solve this problem, this model can do this, or this model can do that. But there is a serious shortage when it comes to how can this model help me? How can this model help me address my specific problem? I have an HR problem, or I have a customer service problem, or I've a marketing problem to solve. How can I use these models to solve it? So we can use the models that are out there to fix problems. So that's what we're going to do in the demo. Okay, we have a fictitious that company. That company doesn't have a customer service. So how can we build this agent? So like I said, the value is in the application layer. So let's talk about Copilot Studio. So Copilot Studio, like I said, is the platform that we're going to use in order to generate this, in order to make these agents. Microsoft, created this platform and very much simplified the process of creating agents. Now you can create as many agents as you want in the platform that Microsoft provided and deploy it very, very easily. They make the whole process significantly easier and simple. So I'll go ahead and discuss it later. When it comes to these platforms, right, Copilot Studio is offering from Microsoft, but there are also other companies that are providing the platforms to build agents, to create agents. Copilot Studio is from Microsoft. Salesforce has its own platform, Einstein 1. IBM have Watson X Assistant. There is another one, another platform, another low-code platform from Box. So almost every company, every big tech company and their dogs are coming up with these tools in order for us to build an agent. So as long as we know as long as we have the basic understanding of what it takes to build an agent, you can use different platforms to do so, enterprise level platforms. There are also open core frameworks. These open core frameworks, there is some gotchas in these platforms. Essentially, most of them are, they say it's free, you build something. Once you hit some threshold, then they will ask you to pay money. But they are advertised as open core or open source. But you can go ahead and taste them, like BotPress and Rasa and so on. But our focus is not on the open core area, at least for today. Our focus is Microsoft Copilot Studio. Before I go and do a demo, I want to cover one thing, which is Microsoft is confusing people with the phrase Copilot. They just slap the word Copilot everywhere, and sometimes you don't know what is what. So I will take a few minutes to discuss the different flavors of Copilot. They are very, very different. Their purpose is different. Their target audience is different. Their capacity is different. But they all have this Copilot in their name, so they are really confusing. So I'll take the next few minutes to discuss the different Copilots from Microsoft. The first one is Microsoft 365 Copilot. What is it? What is Microsoft 365 Copilot? This is a simple productivity suite. So it is something that you have in your Office tools, in your Word, in your Microsoft Outlook, Excel, and whatnot. These are the suites that you use in order to rewrite a Word content or summarize a Word content or something that you use in Excel to analyze data. So this is a very, very limited offering inside Microsoft 365. This is not a standalone application. This is inside Office. It is part and parcel of Microsoft 365 Copilot offering. The second one is the standalone Copilot app. This is something that you can get in web browser or on apps or desktop. If you remember, 3 years ago, they used to call it Bing Chat. And Bing Chat wasn't popular, so they rebranded it as Copilot. But it's exactly the same thing. It's the same tool with a different name. It's a standalone product that can, this Copilot, the standalone app, is a competitor for ChatGPT or Gemini 3.0. I do not have a favorable opinion on Copilot, so I'll just leave it at that. This is a standalone tool. The other one is Windows Copilot. Windows Copilot is a Copilot that comes with a Windows operating system, and it's basically it's something that you use on the operating OS level tasks. Like, you want to change some setting using Copilot. This window Copilot will help you. You want to do some screenshots or switching or multitasking. Basically, if it is a task that's related to the operating system, they come up with Windows Copilot. So when you see Intel advertising Copilot in different laptops, they're talking about this version of Copilot, purely for operating system. Microsoft Copilot Studio. This is what we're going to cover today. Copilot Studio. For those of you who have been in the Power Platform environment for a significant period of time, you may not hear Copilot Studio, but you are aware of Copilot. You used to work with Copilot Studio. It used to be called PVA, Power Virtual Agents. So just like Bing Chat, Microsoft take Power Virtual Agents, added some functionalities, rebranded it, and call it Microsoft Copilot Studio. So what is Microsoft Copilot Studio? This is a platform that we use in order to build custom AI agents. These agents can be deployed anywhere. You can deploy these agents in your website. You can deploy these agents in Teams. You can deploy these agents in Telegram, in WhatsApp, wherever solutions are. So you go to Copilot Studio, you build the agent, and then you take that and then deploy it in different channels. So I'm going to spend a significant portion of time discussing about Copilot Studio here. So let's leave it at that. Then there is Enterprise AI development platform, which is Azure AI Foundry. So Azure AI Foundry offers everything that an AI developer needs. If you are a hardcore AI developer who wants to build a totally customized agents, then you can use Azure AI. You can use Python or C# or JavaScript or what have you in order to build an AI agent. There are so many APIs that are integrated to AI Foundry, and essentially, this is a tool that you can use if you want to build everything from scratch. So the difference between Azure AI Foundry and Microsoft Copilot Studio is that Microsoft Copilot Studio makes your life really, really easier. You don't have to worry about the UI. You don't have to worry about how to integrate different platforms because most of the stuff is already built in. You want to add a flow, you just have to connect in Copilot Studio. Whereas in Azure AI Foundry, you need to build most of the functionalities yourself. So it is powerful, but it really is time consuming. So it's like I said, it's an enterprise AI development platform. It is really powerful, but like I said, it requires a lot of effort from you. It is not a low code or no code platform. All right, so let me go ahead and give me 1 minute. Let me bring my Fictitious website. So, like I mentioned, now I'm done with talking. We'll go ahead and build something now. So like I said, this is the website. This website has a join waiting list. This website has information about the classes, the instructors, the schedules. So this is the information that we have. What is our problem? Our problem is, like I mentioned at the beginning, the problem is we do not have a customer service to answer people's question. We do not have a customer service person to answer phone calls all the time. Therefore, this company needs an agent. So we're going to build an agent for this company, which is Sunshine AI Academy. And in order to do so, in order to build this agent, we are going to use Microsoft Copilot Studio. So as you can see, in order to Microsoft Copilot Studio is a standalone system. So if you go to copilotstudio.microsoft.com, you should be able to access Copilot Studio. And if you are in a government entity, the URL will be different. By the way, we have the agent that I'm going to show you here. We created a similar agent in a different environment and deployed it for a different purpose. So it's we already created multiple agents in production environment that are currently in use. So here is my approach. I am not going to discuss just before I go ahead and discuss every portion of Copilot Studio. Let's just test the agent. So the name of the agent is Sunny, as you can see on the right side. The name of the agent is Sunny. So what is Sunny? Sunny is the Sunshine AI Academy assistant, and Sunny is saying, "I'm here to help you with registration, class assignment, instructor information, wait list status, and technical support. You can ask me questions like which class I'm assigned to, who is my instructor, am I on the waiting list for a course, add me to waiting list, I need to escalate issue to support." I provide up-to-date answers using our official school document, roster, and website information. If your question falls outside of this area, I will politely guide you back to the topic I can help with. So this is essentially the greeting from Sunny. So let's go ahead and test Sunny, and then after that, we will see how this tool is built. So let me go and ask a question. Let's assume that I'm a student and I want to know what my class is. So what is my class? So it says, it looks like you haven't provided a full name or student ID yet. To help me find your class, I need either your full name or your student ID. Could you share with me? So I know that there is a student called Daniel. So let me give Daniel's name. It answers. Class assignment details for Daniel. Class name, AI Fundamentals 1. The teacher is Dr. Noha, and the class schedule is Monday, 6 to 8 p.m. The information is based on the class roster for AI Fundamentals. So who is the teacher here? Dr. Noha. Let's ask, tell me about the teacher. So you should know, Sunny should know that I'm talking about Noah here. So we are testing the memory capacity of the agent. Here is the information about your instructor for AI Fundamental. What? Dr. Noah is the instructor for your course. This is the office hour. This is the class time. So it provides us information. So now let me ask it. Let's assume that I have a friend called Nico, and let's ask, where is Nico? Or what class is Nico? It looks like you haven't provided full name. You should know. So you go ahead and figure out where Nico is. There's only one Nico, so it figured out, okay, Nico Pratt, integration in business. The professor is Professor Mercy. This is a class. So far, so good. So this is about the class. This agent also should be able to tell us about the waiting list. So let me ask it, is my sister in the waiting list? Please provide the email. So what I'm doing now is I'm showing you what the tool will what the tool is at the end. We will go back and see how each and every step is built. I'm just showing you once we're done building the agent, this is what it looks like. This is the end product. So everything that you're showing, I will show you the ins and outs of how this data is generated, how the knowledge base is loaded, why it's asking me all this kind of question. All these things we'll cover. So please provide the email address you would like to check on the waiting list. So let's say Mahi, that's the name of my sister, at test.com. And she is not in the waiting list. So it should say she's not there or whatever. So it go ahead and check it. It says the email address is not currently on the waiting list. If your sister would like to join, you can add her name using the following link. So it's doing two things. One, it goes and checks this data, by the way, is in Dataverse, the waiting list data. It goes to Dataverse. It checks whether Mahi is there or not. It figured out that she's not there. And then it come back and say, hey, she's not there. But if you want to add her, go to this website. If I go to this website that it recommended me, it is the Essential AI Academy waiting list. Don't mind about the looks and feels here. We built it in one day. So, excuse the the overlapping one not, but this is a waiting list website. So she can come here and say, okay, my name is Mahit Abdallah. My email address is mahi@test.com, and I want to join AI integration for business class. This, like I said, is a fictional demo website, so it's not going to submit anything. All right, so let's give it a correct a person that's already there. So let me show you what the waiting list look like. This is a Dataverse table. This is our waiting list data. Like that, all this is fictitious. So Almaz is here. So let's copy Almaz's email. And let's ask, what about Almaz? Let's see what it's going to say. It's asking me what's Almaz's address. This is Almaz's address. So it should say that Almaz is in the waiting list. Yep, we say yes, Almaz Berhe is currently on the waiting list. She was added on January 16, 2024. Let's assume that, okay, I'm having an issue. I want to talk to a person. So I want to talk to somebody in customer service. Say, I want to talk to customer service. So it says, it looks like I'm unable to answer your question at the moment. Would you like me to escalate this so a team member can assist you further? So it's a Boolean, yes or no. If we say yes, there is an option. If we say no, there would be a different option. Say, we want to talk to customer service. We want to escalate this. So let's say yes. Then you come up with an adaptive card, which is, please provide your details so we can escalate this issue. So my name is, say, Jane Doe. I'm gonna give a wrong email address, and I'm gonna add intentionally words to my phone number and say I'm having an issue. And if I click submit, look, this email address is not in the right format. This phone number is not in the right format. When I say submit, it will tell me, hey, give me a proper valid email and a proper phone number. So we added validation here. Like I said, I'll show you how all this is done. Test.com, let me remove this and add 202, 202, 2022 and submit. A new ticket has been created on your behalf. A team will be contact you to resolve this issue. So what happened here? What happened is that it will take the phone number, the email, the phone, and the issue, and then escalate the issue. If I go to my email address, I should be able to get an email shortly, right here. As you can see here, immediately, like a few seconds ago, a new support request from Jane Doe. Here is the email address of Jane Doe. Here is a phone number. Here is the issue. So the system escalated the issue to the right people, and that person, the information is right here. Okay, so finally, okay, the final point. Let's ask something totally outside the scope of this agent. This agent is an academy assistant agent. This agent is built specifically toward those questions when it comes to when it comes to student classes, waiting list, or any instructors courses. It's a school assistant, a registration and class assistant. If we ask something outside the scope of this tool, then it should tell us no. So let me ask something like, who is the leader of what? Kenya. So what's doing is searching the knowledge base, and then it says, "I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to help you with that. Can you to phrase it? Can you try to rephrasing?" So it refused to answer this question. Why? Because it is outside the scope of the tool. So this is what the tool is. So now the next phase of the discussion would be, okay, how do we do this? How are we creating this agent? How can you create this agent for yourself? Like, this is, like I said, a simple AI assistant for classes, but you can create exactly this similar agent for different purposes. You can create an agent to do HR help. You can create an agent to help the sales team, or any entity that needs some kind of help. So now I'm going to go through the details. So let's create an agent. So first, obviously, you have to go to Copilot Studio. You have to go to Agent, and then let's create a new agent. So there are two ways of creating an AI agent in Copilot Studio. One is using natural language. You can come here and say, okay, I need a Sunshine Academy agent that can answer waiting lists and so on and so forth. You can use natural language. Or my preference is to use configuration, this option. So the first thing that you have to do is to provide a name for your agent. So if it's an HR onboarding agent, you can call it HR onboarding agent. You can provide it a fancy name like Sunny, or be creative and do provide an agent name. The second one is description. Description is describing the agent. What is this agent? What is this agent supposed to do? So as you can see, for the Sunshine AI Academy, we gave the name Sunny, the Sunshine AI Academy. In the description, we provided this description. Sunny is a friendly, knowledgeable AI assistant designed specifically for Sunshine AI Academy students. Let me just cancel this section so that you can see the whole picture. Sunny can help students find their class assignment, identify instructors, check waiting status, troubleshoot. So this is just a description of Sunny. You could, if you want, you could leave it blank, but it is, I think, best practice to provide a good description of the tool. So let's go back. So that's what a description is. Instruction. Instruction is a very, very, very important portion of the configuration. What is instruction? Instruction is telling the agent what to do. Instruction is telling the agent how to behave. This is where we tell the agent, be respectful, be polite, provide information in a professional manner. Especially if you are building an agent for a business entity, and if it is customer facing, you don't want the answer to be in emojis. You don't want the agent to use slangs or informal language. You want it to be professional. You want it to be polite. You want it to be as conservative as possible. This is the instruction, is where we tell the agent. We describe the tone, we provide the rules and the guidances in the instruction. So let's see what we put for Sunny. So in Sunny, we said, ensure all communication is professional, polite, and respectful. You assist the students in finding their class assignment, identifying instructors, checking waitlist status, and escalate requests. If the user asks about any topic other than student service, class assignment, or technical support, politely decline and offer to assist with relevant queries. When requests to look up to student, class assignment, retrieve information from the roster and provide the class name, teacher, and schedule. Always, this is important, always use authoritative sources, whether it's PDF or official website, to answer questions and avoid hallucinating personal or sensitive information. So you can add many instruction. As you can see, I only used 660 out of 8,000. So you can provide as many instruction as you want, and the agent will follow this instruction. If you want it to be loose and if you're building this for an entertainment purpose, then you don't have to be strict. You can tell it to answer information in a funny manner or in emojis or what have you. It will follow the instruction. So that is the instruction. By the way, if you have questions, I will cover it at the end. Then the other portion is knowledge. What is knowledge? Knowledge is the data that the agents use in order to answer your inquiries. The data can be PDF files, the data can be Excel file, the data can be in Dataverse, the data can be in SharePoint or in a SQL database. This knowledge is important because if the information is not in the knowledge base, then the agent will not be able to answer questions. This is where the answer is coming from, the knowledge. If there is an issue with the knowledge, if there are wrong information in the knowledge, then the agent will also provide wrong information. Because it is like this phrase, like the GIGO phrase, right? Garbage in, garbage out. If there is garbage in the knowledge base, the agent will also provide a garbage answer. That's not because the agent is wrong or anything. It is the source that is wrong. It is the data in the backend that is wrong. By the way, you will find this issue in work environment. You will find it. It is very, very common to know that a certain website will be your knowledge base. So you list a a website as a knowledge base, and there is outdated information in the knowledge base, and then somebody asks a question, and the chatbot provides wrong answer. Why? Because the backend data is wrong. So we need to be really, really careful regarding what in the knowledge base. Let's see what we have in Sunny. So in Sunny, we have two knowledge bases. The first one is class assignment. The other one is a website. This website is, if let me copy this. This is the Sunshine Academy website. And the other knowledge base is the class assignment. So let's see what the class assignment looks like. It can be in Word, it can be in PDF. As you can see, by the way, like I said, this is a fake outline. So there is class AI Fundamental 1 is one class, AI Fundamental 2 is the other class, AI Integration in Business is another class, AI Integration for Developers another class. And these are the first name of students, last name, student ID, teachers, class schedule, class. So we provided two sources as a knowledge for Sunny. You can have multiple knowledge bases. Here's one thing that I'm going to tell you. When you add a knowledge base, right, if the status is ready here, if it says ready, that means the agent is ready to answer based on this data source. Sometimes you would see in progress, especially when you load big PDFs, when you load big Word files, for hours and hours, you will see in progress status here. And then people go ahead and ask a question. They go here and say, try to ask a question here, and that question, they know that it's in the knowledge base here, but the agent will not give them an answer. You will see this problem. The reason is because it is not ready yet. The engine, the Copilot Studio engine needs to load this data. It needs to index it and make it ready for you to use. So make sure that the knowledge base that you are is ready before you start testing your agent. So in short, knowledge is a data that the agent use in order to answer a question. And another very, very important point, accuracy. The accuracy of the chatbot is dependent on the quality of your knowledge here. So make sure you have a very high quality knowledge here so that your agent is not hallucinating or making things up or provide outdated, wrong information. All right. What's next? Let's go back to our grade. So we discussed the name, we discussed description, we discussed instruction, we discussed knowledge. And you can have an option to do a web search. So what does that mean? An option to do a web search. You can allow the agent not just to use the knowledge that you provided, but you can also allow him to do web search. So you can, in real time, go to the web, use Bing search and give you information. We typically disable this because we don't want, I mean, many organizations at least do not want to do web search in their agent. They don't want to do that. The thing that we're building here is a RAG system, retrieval augmented generation. It is augmenting what the model has with our own knowledge base. So we're augmenting, we're adding additional things on top of the capacity of the model. And most of the time, we do not want web search. And in some, especially in government organizations, this is disabled on the environment level. You can't even enable it. So let me go to. So we discussed about overview, knowledge. Let's come to the core of the agent, topics. This is the most important part of agent development, topics. What is it? What is a topic? A topic is a core building block of an agent. The core building block. It defines how an agent responds to a user input. Whenever there is a question here, when people ask a question, topic is what a topic is what tells the agent tells the agent how to respond. I typically, whenever I talk about topics, I give an analogy of topic is like a traffic agent, a traffic person. Not here, but back home there are traffic police. The traffic police tells you to stop. The traffic police tells you to go right or to go left, or provide you all kind of instruction. A topic is just like that. When a person asks waiting list related question, it triggers waiting list topic. If a person starts with greeting, it will trigger the greeting topic. If a person or a user asks about class assignments, the topic, go ahead and initiate the class assignment. So topic is very, very important. It's a core part of our building. Even look at what we have here, the home, the conversation start. Hello, I am Sunny, the Sunshine AI Academy. This is a topic. This is a system topic. It's called conversation start. This is how it started. If you open conversation start, this topic here, this is it. As you can see here, hello, I am bot.name. This bot.name is a variable. It holds the name of the variable, the name of the agent here, Sunny the Sunshine Academy. If I change Sunny Sunshine Academy, this variable also changes. So it says, hello, I am Sunny Sunshine AI Academy. I'm here to help you. And whatever you see in the agent comes directly from the topic. If I add something here, like let me say demo, and save it. And when I refresh, we will see in the conversation start, you will see demo there. Right here, demo. Why? Because we're telling the system is told when this agent is loaded, when the conversation is started, trigger this topic. And right here, a demo is added. So let me go ahead and remove it. So there are two kinds of topics. There is a custom topic. A custom topic is first there are system topics like greeting, conversation start. Those are the agents, the topics that come with Copilot Studio. There are also custom topics. Custom topics are topics that we built. Topics that we build in order to provide assistance. This is where we do majority of the work. The significant part of the job is in the topics. So let me pick one topic, the waiting list topic, and let me show you how it's built. So first, you can provide any name you want. I call it waiting list because it supports, it provides information on waiting list. So what are the phrases that are going to call this topic? What are what are the key phrases that are going to call this topic? As you can see here, this topic handles all student inquiries related to the waiting list. This topic shall address phrases like waiting list, wait list, join the waiting list, check waiting list, am I on the waiting list? So if a user provides or asks about anything related to the wait list, this topic will be triggered. When it's triggered, there are different kind of nodes that are going to be involved. So if I say, now I want you to look at what's going to happen on the right side of things. I am in the development environment, so you can clearly see what's going to happen. Let me go to overview. So let me say wait list. You see, as you can see here, when I say wait list, a topic called waiting list is called. And then it's asking me, I can help you with the waiting list. What would you like to do? And it gives me three options: join the waiting list, check your waiting list status, or other. This is a condition. If I pick join waiting list, there is a condition. There are a sequence of tasks that it's going to do. If I say check your waiting list status, again, there are a sequence of tasks that are dependent on this result. The same is true with three other. So let's examine what that topic is, waiting list. So when users say wait list, waiting list, check waiting list status, it triggers this topic, and then we're telling it. It can be, I mean, it asks a question. There are so many things here. You can ask a question, you can send a message and kill the whole conversation. You can add a condition. There are different ways when the waiting list status is called. There are different ways to respond to that. What we want is that, okay, this person is talking about waiting list, but we're not sure what waiting list is the question about. So we're giving the user options. Do you want to join the waiting list? Do you want to check whether you are in the waiting list or other? So then here is a very important part. Whatever the user picks here, whether it's joining the status or checking the status, we save that result in a variable, var waiting list. This is a variable that will store the choice of the user. If the user chooses join the waiting list, then it says, great. You can join the waiting list using the link below. If the user said, check your waiting list status, then it will ask for the email address. The email address result will be saved in a variable called email. Then a Power Automate flow will be initiated. This Power Automate flow it will take the email, it go to Dataverse, and then check whether that email address is there or not, and then it generates an answer to the user. On the other hand, if it's not about joining the waiting list, or if it's not about check your waiting status, then there is an option called other. And this will restart the conversation. Restart the conversation means nothing but, okay, what do you want? The whole thing will be started again. That's what restart the conversation is. It will just go, the topic, we'll talk another topic. This topic will, so there, reset conversation is a system topic. So it will call the customer this custom topic, this system topic, and start the whole conversation. So let's test it here. So it says join the waiting list. So let me pick join waiting list. 1 minute. Then as you can see, when I say join the waiting list, it says great. You can join the waiting list using the link below. As you can see in the topic, when people pick join the waiting list, it provides this information. It ended the current topic. The whole thing is over. What if we want to check? What if we want to check if a person is in the waiting list or not? So a second condition will be initiated now. 2, check your waiting status. So as you can see, it's asking us what's the email address. It's following the condition. So let's go to our Dataverse. Just go to our Dataverse and ask Helen Kidane. Copy our email address and provide this. And then what's going to do with that, once we provide the email address, it will initiate a Power Automate flow. The name of the flow is called waitlist shake. Again, so the input is the email address that we're going to provide, and the output is a message. So it goes back and then quickly check that she is in the waiting list, her full name, and when she's added. I want you to pay attention here. There is this adaptive card. It takes an email and it calls a Power Automate. That is what tools is at the top here, tools. This is most of you know Power Automate. So this is a simple Power Automate flow. So you can see how Power Automate is integrated with Copilot Studio. So here is what it's doing. When the agent calls, what does it mean? When agent calls means when we provide an email to the agent, it goes to a Dataverse. I'm sure most of you know what a Dataverse is. A Dataverse is essentially a glorified database. That's what it is. Behind the scenes, it uses SQL Server, but the difference is that Dataverse is native cloud. Dataverse is closely integrated with Power Platform. So it is considered as just a database in the cloud, period. So what it's doing is that, let me bring the table. So as you can see, the name of the table is waiting list. This waiting list has a full name, first name, last name, email, and create date. And it also has created on date. So this is a table. What our flow does is that the input is email. It goes to the waiting list. It will compare if that email is there or not. It will pick the first one. So this is a variable in order to store the response. There is a condition. I'm sure you can guess what the conditions are. The conditions are what? Either Almaz is in the waiting list or not. So if the person who, let me see, who was the person that we picked? Okay, we picked Helen. Okay. So expand this. So there are two conditions. If that person is in the Dataverse, it will compose a simple message. Yes, you are on the waiting list, the full name from the Dataverse, and then it will format the date in a manner that is readable, and then it will set the variable that we declared earlier, and then it will respond to Copilot. So it will send the message. This message that we compose here will be sent back to Copilot. If that person is not there, right? Remember, if the person is not there, the goal is to provide the link to the website. So we will compose another message saying, you're not, let me minimize this thing. You're not in the waiting list. Please go to the following list to add your name. So depending on whether that person is in the, if that person is in the system or not, then our answer vary, and then we send back the answer. So let's see how the flow goes earlier, the one that we tested earlier. So the agent is called. We provide an email here, Helen, and then it goes to Dataverse. It checks if Helen is in the waiting list table or not, and then if you see the output, in the output, Helen is already there. I'm not going to spend so much time here. This is Microsoft, I mean, Power Platform Flow. Most of you are familiar with it. I just want to show you that how this Microsoft Flow is closely integrated with agent building. So therefore, she is there. So the condition on the right is satisfied. In the compose, if you see the compose, you are on the waiting list. Your full name is this and that, and then that information at the end is sent back to the agent. So let's go back to our agent. Topic. Waiting list. I know, Alex, I'm running out of time. I'll just cover two more things and then I'll wrap it up. So okay, all right. So remember, let me just go back and cover what we just did. A person types waiting list. Our system asks a question to know whether they're talking about joining the waiting list, check your waiting list status, or other. The person say, okay, go ahead and check your waiting list status. Where is the waiting list status in Dataverse? So the system first asks, hey, what is your email address? The person or the user provide the email address. That email address is the parameter, the input parameter for the flow. The flow triggers, it uses the email that the user provided as an input. It goes to the Dataverse and then figured out that, oh, this person is in the waiting list, and then it generates a message. That message is provided to the user. That's what happens behind the scene. So on the other hand, at the end, right, if it is not joining the list or waiting status, then that's different. Let me discuss another topic. So you can create as many topics as you want, right? Don't make it too much, right? You want your agent to provide a very specific information. If you make it too big, then it may not serve the purpose. So I would prefer to have 2-3 separate agents rather than creating one big giant agent that try to do all things and then fail to do anything. So it's very much important to make sure that your agent addresses certain problem rather than trying to fix everything at once. So I want to discuss one system topic, but we customized it, which is escalation. So first, let's do escalation. Forget about the topics on the left. Just follow what I'm going to do on the right. So I said, I want to talk to somebody. Then the escalation topic starts. It says, okay, it looks like I'm unable to answer your question at the moment. Would you like me to escalate? I said, yes. And then it gives me this adaptive card, and then I provide full name, email, phone numbers, on a description. When I submit, it triggers, as you can see earlier, it send out an email. You can You can do, I mean, sending an email is one option. You can log it in ticketing system. You can do all kind of things. That's also Power Automate. So how is this topic generated? Let's see the flow here. Custom, I mean system, sorry. I keep on confusing the two. System is something that comes with a product. Custom is what we build. So in the escalation section, earlier we discussed about when I say topic, something has to trigger this topic. The phrases that are going to trigger this topic are first like talk to an agent. I'm still having an issue. Talk to a person. Talk to someone. Call back. Call customer service. Different versions of these topics. These phrases will trigger the topic. What I usually do is that I'll just copy one of it. Talk to someone. Right? I'll go to ChatGPT or what have you and say, give me, still logged out, give me a different versions of this or a Copilot. If I type studio topic, whatever, and then it will list different. See, it gives me different variety of the same thing. Some people say get support. Some people say talk to a helper. Some people say have a chat. So, and then I'll copy this and then just paste it here. That's what I do for most of the topics. You cannot, in the right mind, come up with all the different things. So use, for instance, in the class assignment, right? Can you tell me about my class? Which class am I in? What's my? So if people use any of these phrases, class assignment, the class assignment topic will be called. So let's go to escalation. So the different topic, the different phrases that are going to trigger this topic are talk to a person, talk to an agent, and whatnot. Once again, it will ask a question, which says, obviously, I'm unable to answer your question. That's why you are asking for somebody to talk to. So would you like me to escalate this to a team member that assists? Here, as you can see, it's a Boolean. It's not a choice. This is a Boolean. It's a true or false. So if the person says yes or true, then it will provide an adaptive card to complete. If the person says, nah, I don't want to talk to a person, then we restart the conversation once again. In this case, we're calling a topic. We're not calling an adaptive card. We're not doing anything else. We are calling a topic. So this topic is restart topic. Let me show you what restart topic looks like. Restart topic is also a system topic. It's a very, very simple a very simple topic, which simply says what? What can I help you with? That's it. When you call restart conversation topic, all it does is that what can I help you with? Period. So you can use this as a last option in a condition. So let me go back to escalate. So again, we have two options. Either the person wants to talk to, wants to escalate the issue or not. If they want to escalate the issue, we collect information, the full name, the email, the phone number, and the description. This is done using adaptive cards. As you can see here, there is an option that says ask with adaptive cards. And when you choose this, then an empty adaptive card will come. Let me show you what the adaptive card looks like. Properties, edit adaptive cards. This is what the adaptive card looks like. If you are, an adaptive cards are in SharePoint, I'm sure. They're also in Power Apps and other places. So if you are a kind of person who loves to do adaptive cards, good for you. Go ahead and use text box and inputs and containers or whatnot. I never do that. What I will do is simply I'll go to the different chatbots out there and ask, give me the payload or the JSON file for an adaptive card. Say, for instance, this is what I'm going to do. Give me an adaptive card for a Copilot topic with questions for full name, email, phone number. And then it will give me a JSON file. The version sometimes is 1.4. Currently, Copilot is 1. Currently it is. I copy this. Currently it's 1.5. You can change that. Let's go to our agent. Where am I? So we can change this. You see, I just changed the one in the bottom, full name, email, phone number, submit. But that's it. You just, as long as you're fine with this, you go and save and close it. You have your adaptive card. If you want to play around and use image and media, go for it. But like I said, you don't have to do the whole thing. All you have to do is you have to know what you want and then use the tools that are available to do that. Back in days, we used to design the whole thing ourselves. Now, no. There are tools that can help us. So that's what the adaptive card is. Then, here is the most important part again. Once it collects the information, it will call another Power Automate flow. This Power Automate flow is the one that collects the full name, last name, the phone number and an email, and then send an email to the user. So there is another flow, support ticket flow. This is a very standard flow. What it does is that when the agent calls it, what does it mean when agent calls it? That means that condition is satisfied. A person said, I'm having an issue. Provide the name, provide email. Then when that information, that person provide name, email, phone, description, these all are the input. When this is done, then it will send an email. The email currently is for me. You can have multiple people here. And then in the email, you can have a new support record is made from whoever that person is. This is the email address. This is a phone. This is the issue. And then that person will address it. And that's the end of this topic. And similarly, Similarly, there is also a similar topic for class assignment. I'm not going to go through class assignment. It's the same thing. It's a similar process. There is a trigger. When people use these topics, it will trigger a response. It will ask for a full name or a student ID. Then this one is a little bit different. This one is a little bit different in that what it's doing is that when a person provides a name, it cannot be a full name. It can be just the first name or the student ID. What it's going to do is that it will use the generative answer. There's an advanced option here. There's an advanced option here. In the advanced, there's something called generative answer. This generative answer requires an input. The input is whatever the person is providing as a name or as a name or as an ID. Then it will need a data source, and then it will go to that data source, query that data source, and then answer it. See what I'm doing here. First, it asks for. It looks like you have. So let's do this. So this topic is generated. It asks for a name or an ID. That ID or name is saved in a variable. And then that variable will be a prompt for the engine, the orchestrator, to use to go to the data source. Look what my data source is. I want you to pay close attention here. Look here, I don't want that system to go anywhere. I only wanted it to go to the class assignment file, use the email or ID that's provided here, search here, and generate an answer. That answer, this is, we are restricting the system to check only one information based on the input that is provided. So you have so many options here. Like so far, I've shown you ask a question, send a message, adaptive cards, condition. We have seen all these things. We also see topic management, right? When people say other, we want it to go to a conversation restart or what is reset conversation. You can add a tool, which is Power Automate that we saw earlier. Another thing is that you can add an agent. If you have a big system, right? And for instance, if you have an HR agent, you can add the HR agent. And then if somebody asks a question about HR, then you'll call that agent and that agent will take it from here. It's like you call customer service people, the question is about HR, so you give them the HR person or you transfer them to an HR agent. The same thing is here. So you can have multiple agents in one agent. So this agent can be multi-agent in a way. So this is called multi-agent environment. It is, I think, too much for this session, but it is not that difficult to imagine. So if the request is about marketing, you have this is Sunny, right? This is a registration assistant. The registration assistant will call the other agent. So you can have 3 or 4 agents. One is for marketing, one is for sales, one is for HR. Then they can work together. One can call the other and address issues. So we covered overview, knowledge, tool, which is mainly Power Platform. It can be SQL Server. We also covered, remember, we get data from Dataverse, we get data from PDF, we get data from the website. We covered topics. Then, okay, here's another critical question. I build this agent, then what? It has to go somewhere, right? It has to be here. It has to be deployed. How do we deploy it? We deploy it by going to channels. So channels. In channels, there are so many areas to deploy. If you want to deploy it in Teams, there is a link here. If you want to deploy it in SharePoint, there is a link here. In our case, we want to deploy it in Sunshine AI Academy. So when I click Web App, it gives me the embedded code here, a simple HTML code here that I can incorporate in my website. So if you can see my view source, it's right here. So I take the link here, right? The link that's provided here, and then I add it here. So in organization, if there is somebody that's handling the website side of things, all you have to do is give them this link so that they can go ahead and incorporate it in the website. Usually you have to do some work, like, you know, you want it to, you don't want it, obviously you don't want it to take the whole page. You want it to be at the bottom, you know, displayed like this, like a toggle. So you may probably have to add a certain CSS for styling and presentation, but the critical part is this link here. So you get this link, it's deployed, it's over. So if it's in Telegram, it can give you a token in Telegram to deploy it. If it's WhatsApp, the same thing. So there is a sign up that you have to do in WhatsApp. The thing is, it says riskier because there is no authentication. My agent is available for everybody. It's an open agent. There is no authentication. That's why it says it's publicly available. But if it's an internal agent, then if it's required authentication, you have to pick this one. But the deployment is most easiest part of the whole process. Get your link. Send, if you are in charge of the website, then you know, include it in your homepage or whatever, then or provide it to the person who is handling the website. So that is basically it. So to summarize, what is Copilot Studio? Copilot Studio is a platform that we use to build agents. What are the core components of Copilot Studio? Knowledge, to answer questions, topics, to direct different kind of different topics, tools, like Power Automate in order to do tasks, whether it is sending an email, whether it is checking whether a record is in Dataverse, SQL Server, or SharePoint, or add records in database or in Dataverse. That's where tools come. Agents, if you want to add multiple agents to accomplish the task. Activity is where you see the performance of the agent. How many, I mean, there isn't much here, but this is where you see the different activities. This, like activity in a sense, this topic is called, or this is the route that's taken. That's what activity is. When you run your agent, you can see the activity. Analytics is it's as simple. It's just what do we have? How many conversation do we have? What is the engagement? What is the satisfaction? By the way, you can measure the satisfaction. Right here, you see the up button and the low button. In the settings, there is an option, this user feedback option. If it is off, right, you will not see the. If it is off, you will not see the up button and the down button. I said save. Just got changed, whatever. So if I go to my agent, leave. It didn't save it, but that's where you control the whether the feedback in the analytics. There is one important thing that I want to show you. It's very, very critical. I should have mentioned it earlier, which is where is it? Use general knowledge. This is very, very important. Currently we're using, I think we're using 4.0. This is the last point that I'm going to cover. I need your attention here. This is very, very important. We're currently using GPT 4.1. GPT 4.1, as you know, is trained in trillions, so much data, terabytes and terabytes of data. It knows so much things. So organizations do not want the agent to provide answer on its knowledge. Many organizations want the answers to be specifically from the knowledge base. They don't want the answer to you. They don't want the agents to provide answer to use its own knowledge. If I ask who Nelson Mandela is in registration agent, Nelson Mandela is out of topic. So you don't want the agent to answer that. So in order to control that, right? In order to control what the agent should answer, this is what you have to do. Use general knowledge, the foundational knowledge that the general AI was trained on, to ground your agent only with your specific knowledge source, or turn this off. So basically, in a simple English, what this is that if this is off, right? If I ask who the leader of Kenya is, the system will say, I don't know. If I turn this on, the system will know who the leader of the agent is. It is using GPT 4.1. GPT 4.1 knows about who the leader of Kenya is. It will answer it. So if you are building an agent to do certain tasks for a certain department or organization, based on the knowledge that you provided, make sure this is turned on. By default, it is turned off, keep it that way. But if you want to create a general purpose chatbot that can answer all kinds of questions, a purely, truly RAG system that use general knowledge as well as the knowledge that you provided, a knowledge that is specific to your company, that's not outside in the website, then it's a truly RAG system. So you can turn this on. Otherwise, make sure this is off. I'm not going to discuss about language. I mean, you can add multiple languages. Like in DC, for instance, you have to, it's a rule that when you build agents or websites for government, you have to have like 7 languages. So this is where you are going to add languages. Most likely, maybe in the future, we will cover how to incorporate multi-languages. One last point. If I ask this agent in any language, it will understand any language. It will answer me in English. The answer will be in English, but You can ask in Spanish or Amharic or Arabic, it will answer. So it will understand the question. It will understand the input, whatever the languages. The output will be in English. If you want the output to be in a different language, there are tasks that you have to do. That is way, way beyond the scope of today's webinar. So overall, I think I take so much time. If you have any question, we can discuss it in question and answer. Thank you.